Okay, so hello everyone. We are group 5 and today we will present our second group project. And my name is Young and I will be the first presenter of my group. So now we will come to the table of content of this presentation. We will have 5 main parts and now we will come to the first part which is watch list portfolio. And the first company that our group had decided to include in our watch list, which is Khang Điền House Trading and Investment. This is a Vietnamese firm that operates in the residential real estate sector, and it was established in 2001. And in 2010, it had listed on Ho Chi Minh City Stock Exchange with a stock symbol KDH. And there are two main points that impress our group to choose this company. The first one is the considerable demand in the real estate industry. According to the research, there are 92% of 1,000 Vietnamese people intend to buy a house in the future, and half of them want to purchase in the next 2 years. Therefore, there is an opportunity for the company to expand their market. Moreover, based on the history of the firm, they have many successful projects in the past, and in 2022 they will intend to introduce some new projects in Vientiane and Thủ Đức City to the public. And now we will come to interpret more about the return and risk of their stock price. In the period of 2017 to 2022, the average annual return is about 20%, which is a great achievement for the management and operation of the company despite the difficult time of the pandemic. Moreover, the average annual standard deviation is about 28%, which means that an investor who made an investment between 2017 and 2022 could be exposed to the risk that the expected return could range between 20.10% to 28.6%. And in comparison with their peer group, in particularly is NLG and the DXG, KDH has lower standard deviation, and its steady fluctuation in the stock price attract more investors. And now we will come to the second company, which is FPT Corporation. FPT Corporation was founded in 1988, and in 2006, it had listed on the Hosea under the stock ticker FPT. And it is not only expertise in the technology industry, but it also operated in the telecommunication and education segment. And about discuss about its growing potential, we have two main points. The first one is the company is a pioneer in the digital transformation. FPT is the market leader in a number of industry sectors. Moreover, in the development of technology, it's also concentrate on the research and development of new technologies, such as artificial intelligence, big data, cloud computing, and so on. And we also impressed with its performance in during the COVID-19 pandemic. It had ended the year of 2021 with more than $1 billion in their revenue, and it had expanded their market capitalization to $3.8 billion. And this successful performance is thanks to the adoption of their operation in a difficult period. And talking about their return and risk, it has an average annual return is about 28.28% compared to the VN index, which is it has a higher average return, which means that it has good performance in previous year. Moreover, their standard deviation compared to their big group is also lower, and we had come up to the conclusion that FPT Corporation had their stock has low risk and high return, and this advantage had attract a lot of investors to invest in their company, and which resulted in a rise of 12% in earnings per share at the end of 2021. And now we will come to the next company.
So about the Vinrup Joint Stock Company, it was founded in 1993 in Ukraine with the name Technocom. In the 2000s, it returned to Vietnam, focusing on tourism and real estate, with two brands, Vincom and Vinpear. In 2012, Vincom and Vinpear integrated to become Group's joint stock company. So there are three core pillars of Win Group: technology and industry, trade services, and social enterprise. So the reason that we chose Win Group in our watch list is potential. In next, so in 2021, in the field of healthcare, is collaborated with the Ho Chi Minh City Department of Health to pilot one healthcare platform, AV Care TM, for the consultation and treatment of COVID-19, and have been very successful. In the real estate, it has accomplished full work United Center project, the first never sleep super complex in Vietnam. In the finance, is launched a sustainable finance framework, which issue international bonds and sustainable syndicated loans. And Vinrup stock was successfully sold by Vinpear under this framework. Next, so about the automobile industry, the newest model VFE34 of VinFast has been really successful in the Europe, and the highway project 2022 Gia Nghĩa Trân Thành, conducted by Vinrup and tech company, was authorized by the Ministry of Transport. Next. So as you can see, although the annual return of Vinrup is less than other companies in our watch list, but the VIC yearly risks were among the lowest, which is about 29.49%. Next, we talk about Hòa Phát Group. So Hòa Phát Group was established in 1992. It is began as a business that traded machinery, and it officially listed on the wholesale exchange stock under the ticker HBG in 2007. There are five main areas: cast iron and steel, product made from steel, agriculture, real estate, and home application. Next. So in the first quarter of 2022, the net profit in the steel industry, the main industry of Hòa Phát Group, increased by more than 8,200 billion Vietnam dollars, about 18% increase compared to the same period in the previous year. And although this is a difficult period for the whole steel industry, but Hòa Phát Group still remain producing about 2.16 million tons of raw steel. Hòa Phát Group were also really successful when maintaining a suitable production level in agriculture and invest in new projects in the area of household appliances. Next. Next. So as you can see, since the in the first quarter of 2022, the profit of Hòa Phát increased again after reducing for a long time. Next. So as you can see, in February 2022, the price of Hòa Phát Group stock increased by 17 to 21%. Next. So as you can see, the average annual return of Hòa Phát Group is really higher than its competitor, and its risk is really much lower. And about the prediction, so there are many factors that make the short-term period in the future will be difficult for the whole steel industry, but at the current state, Hòa Phát Group still really perform really well because of support from government, and is a enough material in its warehouse.
My name is Tan Yang, and another industry that we are interested in is banking industry. So the first bank is Military Commercial Choice Stock Bank. It established in 1994 and officially listed on wholesale under the ticker MBB in 2011. At the moment, ISB-BBUS is performing as a reliable multifunctional financial institution with effective business activities as well as the outstanding growth rate. During COVID-19 pandemic, ISB Bank has still witnessed remarkable growth with profits increased to nearly 7,500 billion VND, and especially in 2021, the company net income increased dramatically by more than 50% compared to the last year, and the company that has great ambition to serve diverse customer based on these advantages in technologies. So next we have the average annual return was nearly 17.42% in the periods, and the annual standard deviations were 33.7%. And compared to other stock in our watch list, ISB Bank has not performed really well. It has slightly lower average annual return compared to the average rate, and also smaller fluctuation than the watch list. And as you can see here about the peer comparison, ISB Bank ranked third place in the criteria of average yearly return and healthy volatility. So this can be explained by the huge investment in innovations of the company, more than $50,000 billion per year. So that is the first bank.
So the second bank is the zone. My name is Khánh Linh and I will present the second bank is the zone so commercial bank for foreign trade of Vietnam. About the business overview, it was established in 1963 as well as was the first state commercial bank designated for pilot privatization by the organization and has been in operation as a commercial transport bank since 2008. Since 2009, Vietcombank have been officially listed on House, and its work is classified among the top 5 of the listed public bank with the lowest NPLs. About the growing potential, Vietcombank have been chosen by our group because of its rising potential. First of all, bank profits and management 2020s, with the net income is 18,468 billion Vietnam dong. Secondly, Vietcombank launched its representative office in New York in 2019 and becoming the first Vietnamese bank to overcome the hard standard to be represented in the American markets. Thirdly, end of year financial safety ratios with the deposit and loan from other financial institutions are at 8.65%. About the return and risk, the average yearly returns on Vietcombank was about 14.4%. On the other hand, has a 31.96% annually standard deviation during the same period. Furthermore, Vietcombank has significantly lower volatilities than the norms. The figure can be explained as follows. The first bank had the highest stock market capitalization. Secondly, COVID-19 support loan policy with around 4,000 billion Vietnam dong. And thirdly, significantly efforts in being made to automate the Vietcombank banking systems. And second, and next, I will present about the another companies is the fact that corporation real estate developments. About this business, this company was founded at the end of 2004 when the real estate market was experiencing difficulties and become one of the Vietnam top investors in luxury real estate and committed to establish a strong rank in the sectors. About growing potential, fact that group have been chosen by our group because of its rising potential. First of all, the company is the first unit in Vietnam to employ the British wisdom frame for project execution, as well as the first unit in the country to use current features, quality assetization for upscale housing projects in commercial centers. And next, in the next slide, in the of luxury real estate, the companies have developed the fact that rents. Another reason is that in prominent area of Ho Chi Minh City and other town and province, the corporation recently hold a large number of prospective land funds and is also established a recent in industrial real estate markets with the first project in the Cam province. And about the return and risk of the companies, it has achieved the best average annual returns of 29.4%, and the standard deviation value is expected 32.38% throughout the time. And this can be described as follows. First of all, the about assurance of public real estate success and the introduction of additional projects. Secondly, is the joy to digitize has allowed new technologies to become a part of the data collection process. And this is also the end of my part.
And I'm Hoàng, and we'll continue to the next part, which is about the Mobile World Investment Corporation. It was established in March 2004, and in addition to the subsidiaries operating retail chains, Thế giới di động.com, Điện máy xanh, Bách hóa xanh, and Pancake Pharmacy, with more than 5,000 locations around the country, Mobile World Investment Corporation is now the #1 multi-category retail platform in Vietnam. And about its growing potential, the first is Điện máy xanh chain market share expansion. The market share growth for the Điện máy xanh chain is attributed to the Điện máy xanh Super Mini model. In 2021, Điện máy xanh Super Mini has extended to 37 provinces and cities in response to the unmet market needs in rural and isolated locations. And the second is start selling Apple products, which is the top zone. MWG has turned top zone as an Apple goods shop, and top zone will enhance the value add revenue of Apple goods, and it would boost the MWG income. And the last growing potential is launch a chain of maternal and baby product store on 2022. MWG formally opened the new AVA chain shops, including the maternal and baby products, fashion, sport, jewelry, and bicycle store. Next slide is about the risk and return. With an average yearly return roughly negative 9.52%, investor who purchase the stock would have an average return of 90.48% each year. So, but however, MWG annualized standard deviation of 47.77%. So if the investor purchase the MWG stock, it predicted annual returns may vary by this number annually. And there are many downside risks, include that due to the extensive COVID-19, Thế giới di động and Điện máy xanh were closed due to the quick than expected consumer demand, and the chain location had to close. And the slower expected margin improvement for the Bách hóa xanh grocery chain. And we can see the FPT and DGW are seen as the competitor of MWG for the market share in the retail sector. And as we can observe, the average annual return and the risks are lower than its competitor. Next part, let's meet my teammate Khoa.
Okay, hello, my name is Khoa, and I will introduce the other company is SNI Securities Corporation. This company was established in 1999 and was first listed in Host in 2007 with the ticket symbol SSI. And this company mainly work in the financial services like the funding or investment fund management. And we chose this company for two main reasons. The first one is the potential of stock market. As we know that the economy of Vietnam is developing nowadays with high GDP and high income. So there will be more and more people join in the stock market, and it's the potential for the company. The second reason is that SNI has many advantages in that field, like they are the #1 securities company in Vietnam, and it is launching a lot of projects or products to develop their company. And about the risk and return of SNI, we can see that the average annual return is about 11.61%, while the standard deviation is about 40.74%. And these numbers show us that the company was affected by the COVID-19 pandemic a lot, and their price fluctuated in during the period. However, at the post-COVID period, their price rise, and give the investor the higher return.
Okay, so I'm Phương and I will talk about DigiWorld Corporation. So it was founded in 1997 and it was listed on Host in 2015 under the ticker symbol DGW. It was among the top 50 most valuable brands in Vietnam voted by the British Brand Finance Organization. And for the business line, it includes market expansion service, ICT, healthcare products, and FMCG. So we choose the DGW because of two main reasons. The first one is it is the exclusive distributor of Xiaomi, which has been increasing its market share in Vietnam. And DGW also started to work with Apple and Huawei to distribute more product models. The second reason is that the company is a bright star in digital transformation age due to the growing use of 5G network and increasing demand for gadgets with fast internet connectivities. So for the risk and return, its average annual return is about 55% due to its entry to the healthcare and FMCG industry, and it has annual standard deviation about 43% due to the rising price of DGW due to the COVID-19. And for the peer comparison, DGW has much more higher return and less risky than MWG. So we come to the next part.
Next is about the portfolio and market analysis. The VN index has an annual average return of 8.17% lower than the majority of the company on the watch list. And the stock in our portfolio have all had very high annual average return. So they are generally worthwhile investment. However, we would choose the option with the least amount of risk. 10 stocks were plotted on the risk and return chart, and we discover FPT, KDH, VIC, BDR, and VCBS the lowest risk and the highest average yearly return. Although VCB and VIC may not be within the efficient frontier, they also have a good standard deviation, and the outcome is that each of the 5 stocks would represent 20% of the portfolio with equal investment. And the next is about the portfolio return risk. Our portfolio average annual return in of 21.64% is just ordinary when compared to the majority of the stocks on our watch list, and comparing this return to the whole Vietnamese stock market, it is much higher. We can see here the BDR is the stock with the highest annualized standard deviation, making it a high-risk investment. Additionally, the BDR and the VCB's annual standard deviation are at the same level. The primary cause of the VCB stock is that the fact that it is an extremely secure business model that also restricts the possibility of the development. However, belong to the distinct industrial sector, FPT and KDH have a similar comparable feature. FPT business activity were less affected by the COVID-19 because the necessity for the rapid digital transition, and the portfolio standard deviation of our group is 17.98%, which indicates that the diversifying investment among several securities, and it will reduce the risk for the investor when compared to individual stocks. Portfolio have the lowest standard deviation in the healthier volatility. Our portfolio standard deviation is close to the Vietnamese stock market, giving the investor a very secure investment. And this is the end of my part.
Okay, and next we compare the VN index, the index of a whole exchange with all the 4 stock exchange in Asia. And as we can see that for both criteria, the average return and the standard deviations, VN index is all in the middle of the list and is very close to the average rate. So we can conclude that the VN index is suitable for investor to consider when they invest in this period of time, because of the fluctuate in a volatile price during the COVID pandemic.
So moving to the next part about beta coefficient. The KDS beta coefficients was 0.29 in this period. It means that when the market performed well, KDS did not operate as well, about 29% on average, and the phenomena can be understandable because according to our team analysis in the real estate stock, so this kind of stock is had to go through a really long accumulation phase before the market phase, so it's maybe impossible for them to keep up with the market volatility about the beta coefficients of FBT was 0.75, and it implies that the VN stock market had a fairly close relationship with FBT stock, and this mainly due to the fact that for the IT company, it does not have long mature time, since the disruption is constantly looming over the businesses. Therefore, a technology firm stock is likely to be quite similar to the market volatility.
So for VIC, its beta is 0.86, which means that when the market does well, VIC do less well and vice versa. This is because VIC portfolio contains companies from a variety of market sectors, from market-dependent service to riskier real estate. For BDR, its beta is 0.22, which exhibits fewer variations when VN index changes. It's because changes in real estate make us more slowly than the other developing sectors. And for VCB, its beta is 0.11, which means less return, but also fewer risks than the market. This is due to the COVID support loan policy with around $4 billion VND.
For the monopoly requirement, we try to minimize the risk portfolio, so we use the Excel solver. I will explain step by step. First, we have all the functions available to calculate the yearly variance. So it's stock equally invested in the previous step, and we need to open the solver on the data part and choose the cell for the output. Next, we need to choose mean in the set objective 2, and we should also include the assumption that the weight of each stock must be less than or equal to 100, and it must be higher than or equal to 0. The total weight of 5 stock it must equal to 1. And next, you can see here we have the result. The standard deviation is slightly lower, and also the same trend for the return. We have that the beta coefficients was also changed by different way of its 5 stock. And that is how we got the portfolio with the lowest risk as possible. And I think that is the end of our presentation today. Thank you for your listening.